Hello. Hello. I think I'm audible to everybody. Good morning to few, good afternoon to rest, and good evening to the rest of the people. So, welcome to First Party Advice Community's first ever webinar. Thank you everybody for joining. First of all, so this community is primarily built for the forward-thinking, futuristic marketers who are here to discuss the real issues and pave the way for the future of digital marketing and digital advertising. So today we are in our very first webinar going to discuss a one real issue, and this is the right time to discuss it as well. So having we know that this is a holiday season, BFCM season, and this is a very right time for us to discuss, should you follow Shopify's first party data strategies, should you not follow, if you're not following, why you should not follow. To answer all these questions, we have Miss Chaya Jaishankar, who is the Associate Product Manager at Customer Labs, who is an mathematics enthusiast, partly an actuarian, and very, very fond of data modeling as well. And who would be the right person to talk about ad algorithms and what are the do's and don'ts and a digital marketer has to do before they set up an ad campaign. So let's say hi to Chaya and let's see what we should be doing actually for this holiday season. So hi, Chaya, say hi to everybody.
Hi, Sariga. Thanks for the introduction. That was a pretty hyped one. But yeah, so I guess I'm audible.
Yes, 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 good to go.
Okay, okay. So yeah, as Sariga was telling, let's get into the topic. So everybody was talking about first party data, collecting first party data, and of the big giants like Facebook and Google, and including Shopify. Everybody is talking about collecting your first party data and using it for your retargeting campaigns. So, why we took Shopify is a different reason, and we are going to get into that. But before getting into that, first of all, why do they say to collect first party data, and specifically for this holiday season? Is we have been seeing so much of updates like the iOS 14 updates and other privacy compliances. So the privacy compliances was there before, but people started noticing it, and the marketing, especially marketers, started noticing it when the iOS tracking update uh, came up. So people became aware of how our data is being collected, and when this iOS update started, so people was aware of how my data is collected and how that is being used under different third-party platforms and these things. So when this started, so the marketing people, I mean, they had the option to opt out of tracking as well in iOS 14 update. So this is the reason the Facebook pixel data couldn't collect enough information, and in turn, the implications were the retargeting audience size had reduced beyond 60%, and the custom audience match rate is decreased below 25%, and the cost doubled, and the ad spend doubled due to the low audience size on both Google and Facebook. So there was overall 38% decrease in ROS during 2021 BFCM week in comparison to the previous year. So these were the implications that was happening after the updates and all this privacy compliances, right? So this is the reason that everybody is talking about first party data, collecting your own data, and how is it going to be useful and everything, because you're not allowed to collect a third party data, and that is the reason for all the pixel and everything breaking. So now everybody is focused on collecting the first party data. So what first party data is basically, so what Shopify thinks first party data is, you collect information from the user once they make a purchase through a post-purchase survey and questionnaires, and getting the product recommendations after they make a purchase, right? That is basically you get the email ID, phone number, the name, their interest, everything after they make a purchase. So this is how Shopify is telling you to collect first-party data. But what actually first-party data is, what exactly first-party audience data is, everybody who visits your website be it a known or anonymous user, whoever that visits your site and just scroll down and view some products, add some products to cart, add some products to wish list, whoever just scroll through the page, these people are also your first party audience data. So almost 98% of the website visitors are anonymous. That is, they don't give the email ID, phone number, the name, and everything, because only when they make a purchase, we tend to collect the information like that. But people who just come and visit and see some products, browse through some products, and just leave the page are also your first party audience data. This is the huge chunk of data that we must to collect, right? Because of all these updates, we were relying on third party platforms, but here we can actually collect all the information on our website through the other information for anonymous users, like the browser ID, the click ID, where they are coming from, all the small details, the external IDs, the Facebook ID, all these information can be collected for anonymous user. And once they turn into a known user, and once they give the email ID and phone number, we can append all this information. You have a high intent audience there. You get to collect all, you get to know all the information about the user, including their behavioral information on your website. So those are also your first party audience data. So collecting all this data is fine, but how these audiences are going to help you in your um, okay, sorry. So how these audiences are going to help you in your retargeting campaigns? You have so much data. You can collect all this data, and how these are going to optimize, help you optimize your retargeting campaigns. So basically, you should know how the algorithm works, right? So getting into the next topic, which is how you understand the algorithm works. So if all ad platform algorithm work based on machine learning, and the machine learning algorithms need data, enough data for you to understand and collect the user intent signals and use the behavioral information to reach out to the audience, the relevant audience, high intent audience, who are highly likely to convert for your business. So Facebook neatly explained this, how you can if you read the demystifying automation blog, you would have understood how they can actually uh, use the first party data to help the machine to feed the machine learning algorithm, which tends to help you with collecting, with reaching out the relevant audience. So the base here is how much ever the quantity and the quality of the data that you've given. Based on that, Google or any other ad platforms work. So based on the audience, it starts optimizing the ad campaigns, which is called what we call as a progressive optimization, right? The based on the audience information that you give, and based on the intent and everything, Facebook optimizes the ad campaigns better, right? So you can send all the information there, but what results can you expect from your campaigns? So what to expect from using your first party data for your retargeting campaigns, right? So we actually had one of our clients who used first party data, and these are the results that that they derived from using first party data for their campaigns. They saw an improved ROS to up to 35%, and which contributed to 11% of their overall revenue. And these campaigns were like higher number of purchases than the brand search campaigns. So these are the results that they saw using the first party data for their through their retargeting campaigns. So what strategies they used using the first party data? What first party data driven strategies they used for getting these results, right? So let's look into that one by one. So we also experimented with other clients as well, and we also tried and tested it ourselves. And we came up with these two strategies will work better for your retargeting campaigns using first-party data. So the first strategy is funnel-based targeting for larger audiences. So when you have a large number of audiences, you can use the funnel-based targeting. And the second one is when you have a smaller audience size, that is your website traffic is low for small businesses, basically. So there are two strategies. So getting into the first strategy, here what happens here is so usually we go about splitting the budget for the top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel. So for the budget without using the first party data, what we have been keeping it, like the marketers have been keeping it, is uh, we give 10% to bottom of the funnel, and we don't concentrate much on the middle of the funnel, which is basically our anonymous website visitors. We were relying on third party platforms. Because of all these issues, this was zero now, and 80% for your top funnel campaigns. But using your first party data, the bottom of the funnel still remains the same, because those are still your smaller audiences, and those are high intent audiences, and also the days for the card abandonment, 28 days or 7, which lie around 14 to 21 days. So for that, the budget remains the same. So how you split the budget is the strategy here. So for the bottom of the funnel, it is good to have it 10%. And for the middle of the funnel, which you have not been splitting any budget before, now in the next 90 to 120 days after you start collecting your first party data, what happens is you have all the anonymous website visitors stuck in the middle of the funnel. So here, those are also your high intent audience, because those people have shown some interest on your products. They have browsed some products. They have added a product to wish list. So those are your high intent audience. You will have to split that specific amount of budget, which is 30%, for your middle of the funnel, and the remaining will be your 60% top of the funnel. With first party data for the top of the funnel, you can use the first party audience data, like the middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel audience data, you for your top funnel as well, creating a lookalike using the first party audience that you have as a seed. So that will work even more better, right? So this is the strategy, that how you go for splitting the budget. So the next thing is, the middle of the funnel is quite bigger one. That's a major chunk that you have, because there are a lot of website visitors one might have, right, for a business. Then how are you going to split the middle of the funnel audience into even more smaller segments, which is basically micro segmenting. So how you can micro segment your mid funnel audience is basically, you can split the audience itself into high intent, medium intent, and low intent. So the high intent will be add to cart but not purchase. You can scale it up to the 365 days, as long as how much data you have. And the medium intent will be people who viewed products in the last 365 days. And the low intent will be page viewed in the last 365 days. So these data can be segregated like this into micro segments, and these can further be micro segmented, like a product viewed but not added to cart. So these can still be in the last 180 days, in the last 60 days. So these micro segments can still be done based on the number of audience that you have in specific segment, right? And also, when you send all this information to ad platforms, you make sure you don't use the overlapping audience segments. You will have to exclude the audience segments. So the reason here is, if you send one signal, one intent of the audience, say user is being added to cart, if you're going to send that intent to the user, to your ad platforms, you are going to tell this information to the ad platform, then the intent for the same user, if you're going to send another intent called product viewed, then there is going to be some overlap, and the algorithm will not show the relevant ads based on the intent. So make sure you don't overlap the audience segments, and also the intent, you don't overlap the intent. And typically, the as I already said, the audience size should be a minimum 100K if you are going to micro segment them. In each segment, it should be minimum 100K. And the reason behind this is, I'm going to explain that in the coming slides. And I'm also going to explain what are the other factors that affect your campaign metrics. So the audience size and the reach. So when you're sending all these segments to the ad platforms and going to use it for your campaigns, how are you going to scale it, and how are you going to structure your strategy accordingly, right? So when you have a smaller audience size, the problem here is the problem after all this iOS updates and all these things were happening. The problem was the smaller audience size. The audience size was really low, and you could see that if you scale the budget, it will stop at some point. That you can see the curve is going downwards. So this will stop at some point, and this is called the point of diminishing returns. So you can't scale your audiences scale the budget for specific audiences, that is the limited number of, it is 100 around 200K. You can't scale the budget, and you can't experiment with these audiences. This was a major problem that everybody was facing when all these iOS updates and privacy laws have been doing their rounds. So so this was one case. So these can be ideal for your bottom of the funnel campaigns, basically. So bottom of the funnel campaigns is like the high intent, and you can set your budget lower, and you can gradually scale it, but it should stop at some point. You can't run it for like more than 7 to 14 days or something like that, right? So you can use this audience like for that. So this basically works for your bottom of the funnel campaigns. But when you have the mid funnel audience, which is the larger audience size, right? You have estimated audience size of your around 6.5 million. So when you have this much of amount, large audience, you can use it for your middle of the funnel campaigns. Here you can see the curve is going upwards. You have you can have the budget lower, and you can start experimenting with different assets. You can change your creatives, and you can test your ads accordingly. When you have larger amount, the reach will be, if for example, if your reach is 10,000, you have enough audiences, 10,000 per day, you have enough audiences here to scale your budget gradually. So for example, if you keep $100 today and per day, and again, if you're going to see for 2 3 weeks how is it running, and 2 3 days and how is it running, you can again scale your audience to 200. Likewise, you can use all the information and all other things around your ad set, and you can slowly and gradually improve and scale your budget. You have that much of audience, because these are also your high intent audience stuck in the middle of the funnel, right? When you are going to focus, these are easier to convert, highly likely to convert, and this will help you to reduce your cost and improve your ROAS, because you're going to get your information in the smaller budget itself. Get your data, get your results in the smaller budget itself, right? So for larger audience size, your scaling is directly proportional to your audience size. So how much however big your audience is, you can scale your budget slowly and experimenting with other ad sets as well. So experimenting with your other assets and creators as well. So for example, when you have the other strategies, basically when you have smaller audience, your website traffic is pretty low, and because for smaller businesses that is the case, right? So in that case, how you can use the audiences, you can still create all the segments and everything, and you can use these audiences as a combination in the same asset or campaign for it to perform the way it was working before. Because when you combine everything, you will have a pretty good number. So you can start, since it is also for small businesses, the budget will be really low, and you'll see the growth like I showed you before. So this is the case that you can use for your smaller the small businesses. Small businesses can use this strategy for scaling your campaigns and optimizing your campaigns, right? So so with these strategies, our clients have seen a 35% increase in ROS and reduce their cost per purchase by 35%. So as I was telling you, coming back to the uh, story where we are talking about Shopify. Shopify was telling about the enhancers, which is basically when a person completes a purchase and gives you the email ID and phone number, all the PII. After that, you can reach the audiences, reach the users and customers for more information regarding their interest and or what product recommendations they give, and all of the things, the feedback and everything is going to help at the end of the day. But are they only thing to uh, boost your performance? That is not the only case, because you have all the more information in your middle of the funnel, which is basically the anonymous website visitors. The website visitors are your main audience, which is your gold main basically. where you can collect all the behavioral information, what the users are seeing, how many times they have viewed a specific product, how many times they have added a product to cart. So these things you can get from their activity on your website itself. So basically, your website visitors are going to help you for your retargeting campaigns. So based on their intent and the audience signals that you send to platforms like Google and Facebook, it is going to boost your performance, because as I was talking before, Google's automation works based on the first party data. So how much ever you put your data there, how much ever you push your first party data there, and audience signals, user intent there, it is going to give you higher returns, right? So Shopify strategies are your enhancers and not the Bible for your remarketing campaigns. So this is what, and also this holiday season sale is a very good time for you to start collecting the first party data. You can start collecting your first party data and use it for your holiday season as well. And the holiday season, during the holiday season sale, you will have a lot more user visiting your website, and the traffic will be huge. And with that, you can collect more information about the user behavioral data and everything. Using that, you can use for your retargeting campaigns going forward after the holiday season sale. And you can start using these holiday season sale 1 year later, and after in 2023 you still have all this data with you. If you start collecting your data now, you can use it for that BFCM as well. So this is the thing that we want to drive you in this webinar. So yeah, Sarika, over to you.
Great, that was crisp and concise. So, guys, if you have any questions on any of these things that we discussed, so you can just feel free to drop in your questions in the chat. So the chat is open. So yeah, it's time to post your questions here. And just in case you sleep over the thought and then you wake up and then you have some other new thought on whatever we discussed today, you are always welcome, and we are always live on the community. So you can feel free to discuss your thought that you have after the sleep as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll just wait for another few minutes if there are any questions in the chat. And a kind request from the first party advice community team. So we have an goal, okay? So for every quarter we have a goal, and so we'll be really really happy if you guys help and support. If you can recommend the first party data community and talk about us to your team, to your friends, to colleagues, and actually add in more people to the community. So appreciate it. Thanks in advance, everybody, and thanks everybody for joining for our very first webinar. And soon we'll be coming with another real issue which has to be addressed. And let's create futuristic, forward-thinking marketers community intact. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you, Chaya. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And see you again in another day with a very new issue. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.